Shannon, come on up. And I have a mic for you, sweet Shannon. And I learned how to turn this on, so now we can keep things rocking and rolling. Okay. So this is Shannon. Everybody say hi to Shannon. Hi. Because I think you're a little nervous. We don't look nervous. You look like you're natural. Ready. All right, so Shannon, tell everybody how you came even to the office and who brought you in.
So I had a friend who told me about Dr. Kimberly because she found out that we were trying to get pregnant or had been trying to have a baby. And her experience with her was positive, and she said that Dr. Kimberly had a 100% success rate. If you were trying to get pregnant, you should go see her. And so at that point in my life, we had tried multiple avenues. We were at the time going through IVF because I had 4 miscarriages at that point.
And is that where we started the metabolics testing?
So I went through 3 attempts at IVF after I came to see you.
Okay.
After the 3rd is when we did the metabolics.
Okay, so we were ready to try we were ready to move it up.
At that point, I was broken. I had tried everything. I thought that IVF was a way to eliminate the issue that we were having, which was thought to be my autoimmune disorder.
Okay. So then what we did was we entered into recommending doing advanced testing. So we did this testing. I'm going to teach you guys about this in a minute, but it's called metabolics testing. How many of you have done it? Okay. So metabolics testing. So enter metabolics testing. So you did the testing. Tell us kind of what was going on with that.
So I had given up. I was on my knees. I was ready. I said, God, this is the breaking point. I'm gonna do whatever it takes. And so I did the metabolics test, and I was, just all in at that point. It came back, and she showed me everything that I needed to take, and everything that I needed to do, everything that I needed to eat. I went on the advanced plan. I was taking all the supplements. Every 15 minutes I was taking something, it seemed like. And I did that for 5 months. It was pretty intense for 3 months. And then after that, I felt better. I was in the best shape of my life.
You should really, oh my God.
I felt great. I got up and I wasn't aching. I wasn't hurting anymore. I was healthy and I looked great.
And what little miracle happened?
So, you'll see 2 babies in this picture. One of them we had planned, which is Willa, the baby that my husband is holding. Like I said before, we went through 3 times of doing IVF, and I lost a singleton the first time, the second time didn't take, and then I lost twins on the 3rd one. And after losing the twins, I didn't have anything left, and the doctor said, we think to give your babies the best chance at life, we think that you should get a surrogate. And so we did. We were broken, and so we did. We went through 2 candidates to find a surrogate, and the day after my birthday last year, we transferred one of our embryos into our surrogate and prayed that it would work because it wasn't in me. And we went on vacation to get our minds off of it. So we went to Belize, and we were going to have a great vacation. We were going to have a great time. We were going to go scuba diving, deep sea fishing, all the things. And so we get into the airport in Belize. We were having a layover of about 4 hours, and so I was either going to get a drink and relax, but I was a couple days late. So I said, well, I'm going to take a test just to be safe. I didn't think it was going to happen, but I did. So I went to the bathroom and I came back and I said, I'm pregnant. Naturally. So we were in Belize and I found out that I was pregnant with Stella. And so we got our twin babies, although not.
And they're how many days apart?
They're 12 days apart. So January 2nd, and then I had Willa via the surrogate 12 days later on the 14th.
Isn't that awesome? Yay. So listen, guys, like, this is a fighter. This is about being the resistance right here. This is a perfect example of what it takes to keep fighting and being part of the resistance. So, round of applause for Shannon. I thought for sure we were going to mess our makeup up. Awesome. Isn't God good? He's so good, right? He's so good. I love that. All right, so we need to get a testimony going. We need to get some miracles flying through here, right? We're ready for some more miracles. All right, let's hit on a little bit more. I'm going to touch on what I'm doing is updating the causes of the storm, okay? The causes of the autoimmune storm. Dr. David hit the first one. So what do we know about the first one? It's what? Vaccines, right? I'm going to hit the second one, GMOs, but before I do that, I want to walk you guys through what the heck is autoimmune. Since most of us can't even name what they are, let's kind of go through and unpack what autoimmune is, okay? So autoimmune is really a very demonic disease. It's a disease where your body attacks its own tissues. Think about that. Like, we are fearfully and wonderfully made, and our body is attacking its own tissues. This is not from God. So what we got to do is we got to unpack what are the storms in our life that we are actually allowing in, that we weren't aware of, and that's attacking our own tissues. Okay, so let's unpack a couple of the most common, because we have hundreds. There's hundreds of them. So we're going to unpack together this list. But I want to kind of unpack a little bit more of the stats. Like Dr. David said, 90% of Americans say they can't even name one single autoimmune disease. Women are actually 8 times more likely to have autoimmune disease than breast cancer. So more likely than breast cancer, which that's usually the thing that we're most scared of, right? And so we've got nearly 100 other autoimmune diseases, 1 in 12 people, 1 in 9, 24 million Americans. We're double the number of cancer. So what are the most common ones? The one right here at the top, so remember, this is attacking your own tissues. So right here at the top, lupus, right? Lupus attacks your tissues, your joints, your skin, your cartilage, right? How many of you know people with lupus, right? What about MS? MS actually attacks your own myelin. So what is myelin? Myelin is the coating, the wrapping around all of your nerve cells. So think about that. We need to insulate them, right? So if we don't insulate the nerve cells, then they cannot propagate signals. We can't get the brain to send a signal down to your toe to move your foot if the insulation is gone. So think about this. Your body is attacking its own insulation system. Is that not demonic? Like, this is just wrong, right? The next one, diabetes. Type 1 diabetes attacks your own pancreas. Literally, we have patients in our office, guys. The cases we're going to hit on just here in a little bit on diabetes, but we have cases in our office of kids that we have one child that came here from Poland. His family brought him here because he was diagnosed when he was 10 with type 1 diabetes. In fact, what they told him is literally, they said, your pancreas is dead. Who says that, right? Your pancreas is dead. So they put him on what? They put him on insulin, right? And the whole family flies here from Poland to get some help. They come in here, they get their very first adjustment, and after the very first adjustment, the family says to me, the insulin pump didn't take nearly, it like went down 75%. Wow. What does that mean? I said, well, that means your pancreas is not dead, right? That's what that means. And so from that point with the chiropractic portion, then what we did was the same test that we did for Shannon, the metabolics test. And so we were able to unpack his test, and I was able to work with them remotely from Poland and work with them on his diet. You know, he was 12 by then. 12-year-olds don't usually necessarily want to follow their own eating recommendations. I have a hard time in school. This kid was super disciplined. Mom and Dad really worked with him. The last appointment I had with them, Dad says to me, the doctor said he is a perfectly normal boy. Amen. And I said, does that mean like no longer has type 1 diabetes? Yes. And I said, well, you need to have that stricken off his record. He He goes, I'm in Poland, and they don't really care about that stuff. And I said, well, I would care. I would remove that curse, that label right off of this record right away, right? So this is the kind of stuff that can happen. And now we're told with type 1 diabetes and all these other autoimmune diseases, we're told that what? Will they ever heal? No. Right? But that's a lie. Don't we know that? That's a lie, right? So rheumatoid arthritis. So that's attacking your own joints. You've seen people with that, right? You've seen them where their hands are completely rolled over, bent over. It attacks your own joints. Rheumatoid arthritis. Parkinson's attacks your brain. Fibromyalgia, muscle ligaments, etc. Chronic fatigue syndrome. Celiac disease, so irritable bowel. Small intestine, gluten issues. We've heard of people with that, yes? Psoriasis, usually you see skin first, but then you also can see it attack the joints later, right? Psoriatic arthritis, you've heard of that. What about alopecia? Hair follicles. We had a little girl that came in here from California, had alopecia. Like all of her hair was falling out everywhere, started getting adjusted, started working with her nutrition, all completely healed. She's like 8 years old. Vitiligo, skin pigment cells, autoimmune hepatitis that's attacking your own liver. We've had so many cases of liver problems in here. It's unbelievable. How many of you know people have liver problems, right? And they're not a drinker. I mean, that one you'd kind of go, well, that's obvious, but right? Liver problems. Autoimmune, so Hashimoto's, that one's popular. Thyroid, right? Hemolytic anemia, red blood cells, Crohn's, digestive tract, and Sjogren's. We have so many cases of Sjogren's in here. It actually attacks your glands and your face, right? And so we've had so many cases in here that have completely healed. And these are people that typically end up going blind. Their teeth start to fall out because they have no mucus in their mouth. So then their teeth, there's nothing that can bathe their eye, right? You have to have mucus in your eye. So they go blind. Their teeth fall out. They have all kinds of major issues. But bodies heal from all of these things. I want you all to know that. Like, be encouraged. If you know someone that has a diagnosis, be encouraged. They have all healed. We have seen them all healed. Not because we're autoimmune doctors, because we know the doctor is inside of you, and he works here in this place. And we're about being the resistance and teaching you how to resist these things and live with the 5 essentials, the things that we teach in the office here. Just kind of a little visual on the cancer thing, right? You guys see the cancer numbers and the kind of the one on the right-hand side there? We're 2.2 million women living with breast cancer. 9.8 million are afflicted with one of the 7 of the more common autoimmune diseases. Look at that, double. We gotta look at it a little bit differently. Okay, so what they're calling autoimmune disease is they're calling it the Western disease. What does that mean? We're the Western disease, right? We are doing it to our people. Like, they're laughing at us, but we are destroying our people. So we have to be smarter than that until everybody else starts waking up and telling everybody. Couple of the research, type 1 diabetes researchers said right here, very important. It said, environmental factor is the most plausible explanation. Over here, Mayo Clinic researchers for lupus say environmental triggers of some unknown origin. All these environmental things we're talking about right now, all these environmental things are preventable and should encourage us, right? So now we're gonna hit the next one on the list, okay? You might have to take a deep breath because this is gonna be another one kind of like vaccines, right? But we're gonna equip you. That's the reason why we do things like shopping day and things like that, so we can equip you on how to do things a little bit better. I'm gonna show you guys a little video on this.
In September 2012, the first long-term study on the effects of GMOs being consumed by live organisms was completed. The results were disturbing. GMOs turn food into poison. Consumption of such foods may cause a massive increase in cancer for all who eat them. When tested on rats, genetically modified foods cause them to develop horrifying tumors and other related diseases. 70% of the female population died prematurely, and virtually all of them suffered severe organ damage from consuming GMOs. From the beginning of the 1990s, the number of companies producing GMO products has grown exponentially. Today, 75% of the food at Canadian grocery stores contains genetically modified ingredients, mainly in the form of four crops: corn, soy, cotton, and canola. Among the products you buy, GMOs can be found in meats, alcohol, soft drinks, juices, dairy products, frozen food, pasta, canned goods, baby food, cereal, bread, cosmetics, and even shampoo. This is not even half of the list. It is the worst trial and error case in the history of the food industry. The mass poisoning of billions of people with a toxic food crop that was never properly tested. Corporations are risking the future health and sustainability of life on this planet to pad their own pockets. They may have the power of industry, but we have each other. Our unity can protect us. Don't let anyone destroy our future. Join us today.
Told you we were gonna have to take a deep breath, right? We're hitting them all today. I mean, we have to, it's time. Can you see why when you do a test like metabolic, sometimes the results might show that you are so dang malnourished? That we have a lifetime of things that we've done to our body we didn't even know we were doing to our body? Or maybe we got it because mom passed it on to us, right? You guys see that? Like why this is where we are now. And so, but you know what? There's a solution, and there's good news and there's miracles on the other end of that. So just be encouraged by that. Okay, I want to hit a couple of things from the video, okay? So how common are they? If you look at the canola, so 90% of US crops, if you hit corn, that's the kind of sneaky one that we're not really paying attention. We don't really think that we're getting. You see the soy, another sneaky one we don't really realize we're getting. Sugar beets, zucchini, and yellow summer squash. I mean, that's where we're getting 80%. So GMOs are as much as 80% of conventional processed food. Now you might sit there and go, but I don't eat that. I don't eat that. Or you might go, dang, I know I'm eating that. I'm going to show you a little bit more just to kind of pay attention to that. Are they safe? Well, these guys say they're not. So all of these countries over here are labeling or they're banning and not allowing it. What's wrong with us in the United States? Money, right? There's a money piece of it, right? So we got in more than 60 countries, they're saying significant restrictions or they outright ban, yet here in America, what does that make us have to do when we shop? I mean, like, way more conscious. We just can't walk in half asleep shop anymore. We really can't. So top 10 reasons to avoid GMOs. Everybody say glyphosate. Glyphosate is your poison. That's what's making our foods poisonous, glyphosate. One of my very best friend lost her brother late last year from Roundup. He ended up having brain tumors that they couldn't figure out the cause until after he died. And he was full of Roundup, which is the product that we're all told to do if we've got weeds in our yard, right? All that stuff, right? You gotta be very, very careful. Do not ever have that product. Don't do it. You don't want your neighbors spraying it. You don't want to be around it. Like super dangerous. Glyphosate is poisonous. So we want to be careful of that. Now also just understanding there's been a 10-fold increase from 1996 to 2012 in the use of it. Like we're not going backwards. We're actually amplifying the use of this. It's becoming very scary because there are crops everywhere that even are organic and non-GMO, you're getting the cross-contamination going on. So it's becoming very, very scary where we are right now. We've got to pray. We've got to, start learning how to plant our own gardens and things like that. We've got to start learning the things that maybe we never had to learn. I know I grew up with a garden. Like everyone in my family, everyone has gardens. And so that's not really something that we've done here. But we're going to have to start learning how to do this stuff. If you look here at the foods, I mean, obviously it's less nutritious, right? We know that. But just a little trick to pay attention to. When you open the inside of an organic, the banana or blueberry, what you should see is what? Seeds. So what you'll start to notice when you cut into a tomato or you cut into fruits and things, you'll see that there's no seeds. Or you've heard the term seedless watermelon, right? I'm sorry to burst your bubble, guys. I know those seeds are annoying. However, those seeds are there because that's a food by God. That's what should be there, right? You know, I grew up, and that was one of our most favorite things. We'd have a barbecue and we'd cut up that watermelon, you know, it's seeds spraying everywhere, you know, spitting them at everybody. That's what we want to be having as seeds in our stuff, right? So just being careful, and I'm also going to kind of show you some things about how to read the labels on that kind of stuff too. But did you see the video of the rats? The video with the, see the pictures of the rats? I'll show you here in just a second. There's a rat study. So rats fed GMO die sooner, right? And the first study, GMO study, European researchers fed rats chow made with 11% GMO products or GMO-free chow for 2 years. This is a little study with the 2 different kinds of rats. So by the 17th month, the rats fed GMO food were 5 to 6 times more likely to have died. Of the rats fed the GMO food, females grew giant tumors in their what? Reproductive organs. Do we have more or less uterine fibroids than we've ever had? We have more people than we've ever had, right? Reproductive issues are massive. And then you look at the males, they grew tumors in their liver. Liver and kidney abnormalities were the most frequent in GMO-fed rats. Now look at the rats. You have to look at it because these are the cysts and the fibroids and the tumors and the masses that are popping up on us because we're consuming things we don't even know are genetically modified. And our organs are taking the hit. So if you see, you can see the female here having a tumor, reproductive organs, and you can see liver, kidney, right? Liver, kidney, you can see this stuff in the rats. And this is the stuff that, again, this is what's happening to us. Now, I'll tell you, I've been doing metabolics, the urine and the blood testing. I've been doing that for about 9 years now. And in the past 3 years, I've seen more autoimmune, more leaky gut than I've ever had in the total of the 9 years that I've been doing the testing. I mean, it is an amplified response directly as a result of how we've been eating. And now we add COVID. We add a COVID crisis where everyone around you is doing smoke bombs in their little cubicle next to you at work. And they're toxic smoke bombs, right? Or they're handing all the kids and everywhere you go, all this stuff, the sanitizer stuff, right? So this is this, you add this, can you see where we're going? Why Dr. David's saying he's so concerned about the direction that we're going? This is exactly why. So how many of these companies do you use? This is where we can really get an idea, okay? So think about it. Well, let's just say Hershey's, let's just throw it out there. Hershey's chocolate bars, those are my favorite, right? Hershey's had the GMO. What about the Smuckers, the jelly? The Coca-Cola? I hear all the, What about Sara Lee's cakes or Campbell's chicken soup, right? Everybody wants Campbell's chicken soup. We grew up with that, right? Hormel chili. Godiva chocolates. Oh. Kellogg's right there at the top. Now I want to hit the last piece you got to pay attention to. Look at the labels at the top. Bayer. We're talking about your what? Your prescriptions and your over-the-counters are also GMOs. So maybe us running to the store every time we have a sniffle or a cough or an itch may not be a really good idea, even if we are eating organic non-GMO, right? We got to be very, very careful because it might be the over-the-counter prescription medications that we're actually consuming. Now, anytime you go buy one of these things, right? We've seen these. You guys see the crop dusters, the planes that come down? I can't tell you how many times I've run into that stuff. And literally, when you're driving down the road and you see those crop duster planes coming down, or you go buy this stuff, you turn that ventilation off so it's not coming in from the outside in, and get away from it as fast as you can. This is when you drive faster on the road. Okay, tell the police officer, I'm getting away from that poison, right? So this stuff you want to be very careful of and staying away from. And if your neighbor is having their yard sprayed, you let them have it. Like I let them have it. I'm getting out of my car, I'm walking up to my house, And the guy's outside and he's all got himself all covered up and he's literally right next to my house spraying that. And I just let him have it. He must have thought I was a crazy woman. I just let him have it. I got a kid with me. I'm walking up the house and you're spraying. No, no, you're not doing that. So one thing I want you to pay attention to, the amounts of glyphosate in foods. Here's what they're saying. The independent research shows that probable harm to human health begins at really low levels of exposure at 0.1 parts per billion. Everybody say 0.1. Here's why. Now you said what? 0.1. Now let's look at our chart now. Cheerios has 1,125.3 parts per billion. Now that was my cereal of choice when I grew up, Cheerios, right? This is what you give kids when you want them when they're first, like they start eating foods, right? You give them the little Cheerios, it gives them a little texture, right? To kind of chew on, they can suck on them, right? No more, right? Annie's. We kind of think of Annie's as like a, healthier cookie, right? Glyphosate, 55.13 parts per billion. Now, how much is toxic? 0.1. Kashi, which we think of as healthier cereal, right? We're going shopping and we think, oh yeah, Kashi, yeah, let's do that. 275.58. What about goldfish? Zoe, are you around here? Goldfish, okay? Goldfish. Goldfish has 24.58 parts per billion.
I don't want to hear it.
Now, everybody tell Zoe what is unsafe for human consumption. Everybody tell her. Just want to make sure that they're helping you. Zoe, you're at college. They're helping you. All right. Back to nature. Glyphosate, 327.22 parts per billion. Now, Paige, this was really funny the other day. Paige was like, what? Doritos? 481.27. That's ranch. Who knows what the regular ones are, right? So this is the kind of stuff you don't give away. You just throw it away. Yeah. Parts, we don't want tumors popping up all over all of us, right? This isn't even a vacation meal. Okay? All right. So now I'm gonna click through a couple charts. Let me organize you, kind of orient you a little bit on these charts, okay? So we're looking at kind of a time frame. Most of these are going to be like 1990 to current, okay? And we're looking at these charts, kind of seeing an uprising chart numbers, okay? And what we're looking at is glyphosate, and glyphosate is a poison, right? So we're looking at glyphosate, and we're looking at it in accordance to diseases and how they're actually going up as well, okay? So this disease is celiac. Anybody know somebody with celiac? Yeah. Okay. Do you guys see the chart going up? Celiac and glyphosate. Take a look at this one. This is autism and glyphosate. You guys see the chart? Anybody know anybody with autism? Okay. Burdens the whole family and actually destroys nearly every marriage. Now look at this chart, has all the kind of the top, 10 autoimmune diseases on there. So look, MS, ulcerative colitis, type 1, rheumatoid, and check it out. Glyphosate, and you guys see the charts going up, right? How about diabetes? Same thing. You guys see that? Chemicals and diabetes as they go up. In fact, this one's interesting. Right where the red, little chart is here, it says, in 1977, what did they say about diabetes? They said, let's do this. Let's have them do low fat, no fat. Because that's going to help diabetes, right? And we know we should listen to the American Diabetes Association, right? That was super sarcastic, sorry. So they said low fat, no fat. What does that really mean? It just means high what? Sugar. So we enter in low fat, no fat, and let's take a look at what happened to diabetes. And let's also take a look at what happened to obesity. That was really productive, yeah? here's the thing, I want to catch you all, because we kind of got in this little habit of like, low-fat yogurt, low-fat this, right? No-fat this. We literally have been a little bit mind-molded, indoctrinated, and programmed in this area. So every time you send your honey to the grocery store and he goes and gets you stuff, you got to put like full fat. Because we send our honeys to the grocery store, right? I mean, we do. But let's just make sure, full fat. Honey, don't put no fat, low fat. Like, no, no, no. Like, that's a no-no. And if you have to and they come home with the wrong thing, like, you kind of have to send it back. Usually the kids learn that way, and honeys do too. So let's take a look at that one. All right, I'm just going to show you a little pie of kind of like where you see the most prevalent autoimmune diseases. And what's half that pie look like? Rheumatoid. So half the pie of the prevalence is rheumatoid arthritis. Psoriasis. Every case of psoriasis and eczema that has taken the metabolics test, every case that's followed their list, they've all been healed. All of them. So if you hear people that have that, like, it's completely correctable. Crohn's disease, type 1 diabetes, we see MS and we see lupus on there. So that makes up the largest part of the pie for autoimmune disorders. Now, a couple little solutions. Let's get into some solutions. You guys ready? Okay, it's a little bit more fun. So a couple solutions. Just pay attention to the labels. So the labels on the right are, if they're on there, those are going to be good labels. Okay, this is the stuff when you start shopping, you can pay attention to these labels. This is going to be the non-GMO. Let me just stop and just tell you, are you going to pay more money?
Yes.
Okay, you are either going to pay one way or the other. So you get to choose which way in this plan. Meaning you get to choose ahead of time that you're going to spend a little bit more money so that you don't pay on the disease later. It is way more expensive. One of our patients who had ulcerative colitis, one pill was $1,000. One pill. Now, if you didn't see the video, she threw all the pills in the drug jug. She healed from ulcerative colitis, but prior to that, she was like, just one pill was $1,000. So you're going to pay one way or the other. So just get your mind, just like change your mindset on that. Like, I'm going to pay when I go to the grocery store so that I don't pay at a hospital or lots of other tests and things like that. So just kind of get your head in that mindset. So when you shop, our team's going to take you shopping. We'll have a shopping day coming up. And we have virtual shopping days because we don't want to make you have to wear a mask, and some of you are fighting at different places. As soon as things open up, likely that'll be November 4th. We'll take you shopping and we'll be together in the grocery store. But look at the little stickers on the food. If there's not a label there, look at the stickers. 9 is fine. Just remember 9 is fine. So if it starts with a 9, 9 is fine. Say 9 is fine.
9 is fine.
That's the only thing you need to remember. 9 is fine. Because otherwise these numbers get all confusing. So my team will walk you through that. But you can see that conventionally grown, the organic and the GMO farmed, you want to just pay attention to 9 is fine. So super important to know your risk, yes? We know our risk. And that's the reason why this is the test that Shannon was talking about. And the boy that I talked to you about, the Polish boy that had type 1 diabetes, he healed from, it's called metabolics testing. So what it looks like is, it looks like these 2 boxes. So you would pick up these boxes, and you just take the boxes home. And you take, some of you have these boxes at home, you need a test. This is a good reminder for you this weekend. That was like a little hint, right? It's so funny. We get these boxes and we think, I'm going to be perfect for like 3 months and then I'll do it, right? We are never perfect for 3 months, right? Just take the test. And then when you get the test back, one is urine collection and one is a blood collection. Now, all you have to do is like a finger prick. So you just fill in like a Scantron. So just a little bit of blood on like a little Scantron and you let it dry. These 2 things right here will give us everything we need to know as far as there's a cancer marker, okay? There is, are we really detoxing marker? This one I got hit with. I just did my retest. So what I do regularly is I tested my family 9 years ago. We all tested on the same day, which was really funny because Zane was 3 at that time. Super funny. She was actually the best one out of all of us, actually. She was so cooperative. And so we all tested on the same day. And you're running around the house trying to make sure that the toilet lid doesn't get